Alrighty, welcome back. Another episode of Post-Fades Cheesesteaks. This is the episode 45. Got myself, Dakota, and of course, Tim, our lovely correspondent.
Nice to meet you.
If you're watching this, it's probably past March 17th, but we are recording this on St. Patty's Day, so happy St. Patty's Day to everyone, Irish or not. What you got, Tim? What you drinking on?
It's not very Irish. It's Golden Lone Eagle.
I was gonna say it looked like an IPA. I don't think that's very Irish.
It is. It's like a red, a little red. It's got some color to it, similar to your beard, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
This has got to be a big holiday for you. I don't. As long as I've known you, I assumed you were Irish. I mean, just looking at your hair color, I didn't really assume you could be anything else. But this has got to be a big. I'm a big Irish guy myself, but
right. I'm around like 20% Irish. That's it. So
the 20%, like in your hair, on your face, and your head. Is that
yeah, it's 20%. It's just 20% in my beard and my hair. So
fair enough. Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting.
But yeah, I just got a homemade iced coffee with Kahlua and some whiskey. So
iced coffee, the beard, the glasses, the hair, and I saw you got a little haircut. The hipster's looking good on you.
Oh, gotta keep everyone excited coming back for more.
I like it. You're exiting your COVID cocoon into the new world.
There you go. One thing, a couple things I noticed today, like we were saying earlier before we got on, Sixers played a pretty close game to the Bucks, lost in OT, but I just want to say it was like, the game was pretty much over. They're down, was it 5 or 6 with like 12 seconds left?
Yeah, they were howling and everything.
Yeah, and like Danny Green threw up a brick and missed a 3, and then they caught the rebound and immediately passed to Ben Simmons, who was at the 3 line. He was like, all right, shot at 3. It was beautiful. Went nothing but net. Went straight. I was like, Ben, come on, this is what we need.
I did see that. Yeah, I did notice that. There was like a half a second left. They actually reviewed it and gave us 0.1 because that's what we waste everyone's time for. But yeah, no, the 3 was nice. That was, he just clean, like, wide open.
Yeah, it was like time froze, and I was like, Ben has the ball at the 3 line. There's no way knowing Ben, he's going to look for a quick pass to get rid of it. But lo and behold, he fucking put it up, and it was great. So
listen, in a game that's already been decided, with a half a second left, he's your man. He'll jack that 3 up for
That's a good sign though that he's not, because I feel like in the past he would have, passed right away, but situational ball there, he knew that time was limited and put up a shot. So it's a good start.
Yeah, I guess it's something. Tobias Harris going 8 for 23. Now that's something to talk about, but we digress. Go on.
And then the only other thing I wanted to point out, so I saw earlier today the Phillies had a spring training game against the Detroit Tigers. Okay. And they were wearing the jerseys that I'm actually wearing. I got my Irish St. Patty's Day Rhys Hoskins Phillies jersey on. But my issue is that the Phillies and the Tigers wore the same exact jerseys.
Were they both green?
They were both the exact shade of green. They both had the like clover on the side. And the only difference was it said Phillies on one and Detroit on the other. And the Tigers had like light gray pants, and the Phillies had their white pants. I was like, I wouldn't be able to tell who's on the fucking field. Like,
well, that's what you do. That's what you do in spring training. You wear the same color as the other team. Yeah.
Why don't they just designate like white jerseys with like a green clover and green lettering instead? I don't like. I'm looking at it right now because it's a replay. It just looks ridiculous.
I mean, to be fair, if I was a team, I wouldn't want to wear the white jersey with the green pinstripe. I would want to wear the green jersey with the shamrock. It's St. Patrick's Day. This is the one day of the year I want to wear green. Is it nothing to do with my color scheme at all? No, of course not. But today I'm wearing the green.
Well, I saw someone was on first base, so it was a Philly on first, green jersey, a coach next to him, green jersey, and then the first baseman, green jersey. I was like, who's on who? Like, I don't know. I always hate when there's not. I'm a big like. Someone wears a color, someone wears a white or like a light gray. Like I don't like, especially the NBA has been doing that a lot with the like signature jerseys. Like they'll have like someone wearing red, someone wearing blue. It's like it's white and then a color. Like let's make it easily distinguishable. But that's just me.
Look at you. all that time you're watching these sports games, and I think, wow, he's really into it. He's locked in. He must be passionate about this. And you're just yelling over the color scheme of each.
All about the jerseys.
Well, look at you. You drop the merchandise, design all the clothes, and suddenly we're criticizing sports teams for wearing the same color on St. Patty's Day.
That was a good transition. So if you're listening to this and you didn't see, we do have a couple of shirts. We have a hoodie, some crew necks, hats, the Post-Fades and Cheesesteaks logo on them. So please, if you want to support us a little bit, it'd be great. Basically one shirt will help cover the cost of our monthly fees and so on for the podcast. And, it would go a long way. So with that being said, I think it's a good time to jump into a wild week of NFL free agency. So we'll cover that. And then after that, we'll cover our March Madness brackets and some upsets, predictions, and so on. So I think the best part or best place to start would be kind of going through like the top 20 players that were signed. So right now I have pulled up CBS.com or CBS Sports free agency tracker of their, I don't know how they rank these players, I guess by talent or whatever, but so we'll just kind of go through it. So a couple of these guys were franchise tagged or re-signed. So like, and we have Dak Prescott. He got re-signed 4 years, 160 mil. Leonard Williams was tagged and then re-signed like yesterday, I think it was.
He got some big money too.
3 years, 63 mil.
You know what? When you're Dave Gettleman, you get something right, you jump all over that and keep him in town. Doesn't matter how much it costs. If you get a player, a draft pick, or a trade right, and the guy turns out good, he keeps him.
Yeah. Shaq Barrett was re-signed 4 years, 72 mil. He got his money. Good
signing for the Bucs. They're bringing him back the same exact team.
Yeah. Justin Simmons got tagged, safety of the Broncos. Taylor Moton, the tackle of the Panthers, got tagged. Allen Robinson, Bears wide receiver, got tagged. Brand Sheriff got tagged, the Washington guard, and then Chris Godwin also got tagged by the Bucs. And then, I mean, as far as these like top 10 players go, we have Trent Williams, who was like what, mid-30s, got 6 years, $138 million.
Shocking. Yeah, I mean, Trent Williams is a very good player, and he came back and played very well and didn't skip a beat from that 1 year he took off from Washington. But man, he signs a 6-year deal, sets the record for the highest contract for his position, and he's 33 years old. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen a 33-year-old in any professional sport break a record when it comes to a contract at all? 6 years. This man, I mean, NFL contracts never get fully played out, and you're probably looking at maybe 3 or 4 guaranteed. But hats off to him. I'm shocked it took him this much money, literally top of offensive tackle payment scale history. But good for them. I think the Niners are going to come right back next year. Took a down year from injuries, but I like him.
I mean, he's still when healthy, he's still one of the best tackles in the game.
Easily.
And they, I was convinced the Niners were going to re-sign him because they gave up a lot to get him last year, and they had tried to like extend him throughout the year, and it just kept falling through. But
well, Trent Williams is a smart man. He's like, every day I play, every snap I play, I just get more and more valuable. Now look at him. Incredible contract for him. Good for him. But it's a good move for the team too.
Yeah, it is. I think they figured, we'll spend a little extra because we really don't want to lose him, and it would have been a poor investment on their part. So to have traded for him and then let him go.
But I mean, still they traded like a third and a fifth to get him. And
I think it was like a second. I think it was a little more than that.
Nah, it's a third and a fifth.
Okay.
But you can't I was just surprised to lock this much money, a lot guaranteed, pay him top premium for a guy that's 33 and played one season with your team. He looked very good, and you're just banking on him staying healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Then offensive linemen break down. They get injured, and it's a tough spot to recover from an injury. You're getting crushed all the time. But, Trent Williams deserves it at the same time. It's just, I didn't see that coming. That was a big surprise to me. That was a shock to see him get that much.
Yeah. Kenny Galladay is still unsigned, but last I saw, he was in talks with Cincinnati and the Giants of all teams. So it'll be interesting to see how that. I think he would be good. Galladay would be really good in Cincinnati, be a good weapon for Joe Burrow because they lost AJ Green, who signed a 1-year contract with the Cardinals. So
yeah, but if you're if you're Kenny Galladay, you're going from the Lions, which is one dumpster fire, to either the Giants or Bengals, which are just two different dumpster fires. Like, why don't you just come out and just say, whoever gives me the most money, I'll sign there. Like, that's the only way you're interested in the Giants or Cincinnati.
He's going full raccoon.
Yeah.
Joe Thuney, the former Patriots guard, signed a big 5-year, $80 million deal with the Chiefs, which is odd because they just released both starting tackles. So
did you see
like Thuney's 28? Those two guys were like 31, 32. So
did you see the Kyle Long is coming out of retirement to come join the Chiefs as well?
I saw he was coming out of retirement. I didn't know that he signed with the Chiefs.
He's going to the Chiefs. Does it shock you that the Chiefs, are completely changing their offensive line? They basically just kicked out their starting tackles and upgraded their guards.
Yeah.
And with a quarterback like Mahomes, I feel like you put more premium in the tackle position. But, hey, Andy's Andy. He loves his linemen, so maybe it makes sense. Thuney's a good player, though. And Kyle Long, took a year off, but he was a good player when he was out there.
Yeah. I mean, I think unless, they're kind of looking at it as we'd rather control the inside pressure and let Mahomes use his feet to, worry about the ends coming off the edge and stuff where the tackles would be. So we'll see if that's what's going on. But
I hear with what you're saying, but at the same time,
it's backwards. Yeah, I agree.
Well, you're in a division where Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, and Joey Bosa are hanging out, and that's just your division.
Yeah.
I think you put the premium on the tackle position like every other team does. But hey, they do them. Good move. I mean, I'm glad they brought in Thuney and Kyle Long because you cut two starters like that. You don't want to just ignore it. This does remind me of one of the teams in their division, which is the biggest shock to me. And I didn't mean to cut you off in your top 20, but this one I just don't get. So the Raiders, get the gift of their entire franchise of being, after they've been a train wreck for so long, they bring in John Gruden to hype them up, do absolutely nothing but just feed them excitement and smoke. Mm-hmm. They're not a very good team. The only good thing they had going for them was their offensive line. That was probably a top 5 unit, you'd say. I mean, we had Rodney Hudson ranked in our top 10 when we did the interior lineman. Trent Brown's a good tackle.
Yeah.
So now in 2 weeks, they managed to trade away Trent Brown, Rodney Hudson, and Gabe Jackson, your 3 best players on your offensive line. Like, John Gruden's like, all right, what are we really good at? Oh, the offensive line, group is the only one that's actually something respectable on our team. Sure, let's just trade everyone off that side of the ball. Like, what else do you have going for you? Like, Josh Jacobs was a nice player, but now he's going to run behind, turnstiles. No one's blocking for him. Derek Carr, this. I've been on the Derek Carr needs to leave for a bandwagon for a while now.
Yeah.
It's just, moves like this, if this doesn't work out, I know Gruden's got that contract forever, but, man, he's done a piss-poor job in Oakland or Las Vegas.
I really thought that they had a good chance to do some things in free agency. I mean, they got Yannick on a 2-year deal, which I thought was a great move. But yeah, I don't know what they were. So they were originally going to cut Rodney Hudson, the center, and then I don't know. They ended up being able to trade him for it was a fifth or sixth round pick.
Sounds about right. So the Cardinals are all good for the Cardinals. We Cardinals are going for it, and you know what? I like to see that because after you see Dak Prescott get that much money, you best believe Colin Murray's going to go for that much money, and you got to go and win for it now. They picked up Adrian Green as well, obviously J.J. Watt, respectable. I like the moves the Cardinals are making. I think they can make some noise. They need some more help on the defensive end, and I'd like to see them get a running back. I think Kenyon Drake's a bum.
He's not that bad. 1 sec. Let's see.
Yeah, if you're the Raiders, obviously Gruden is beloved there. Mark Davis is his boy. They don't give him 10 years and $100 million if you're not best friends with the owner and like the franchise loves you.
Yeah.
But look at what he's done. He came in, traded away Amari Cooper and Khalil Mack, which we all understood he wanted to go on his full rebuild, draft his guys, and build his roster, get the free agent money and everything. Mm-hmm. So you didn't sign Khalil Mack. Instead, you bring in Antonio Brown, Marcus Joyner, Tyrell Williams, any other horrific signing that I can't remember? Because none of those players are still there. I'll give Gruden this. No one saw Antonio Brown lose his mind. So that was a little tough. But none of the other moves have been good. His drafts have been terrible. You trade away these guys for first-round picks, and who do you have to show for it? Cleveland Farrell? He's a bust. Josh
Yeah.
Jacobs, your best draft pick you made, and your top 5 offensive lines probably had a lot to do with that, and you just trade away 3 of the best players on it.
I
it baffles
agree.
me. Bad. He'll never be in trouble, but he should be on the hot seat, and just in free agency.
Oh, I think it's a very important year for them.
So tell me, who was your biggest surprise? That was I couldn't get over the moves, and I did look at it like right before we got on, so I had the extra shock value kicking in.
Biggest surprise? I mean, I don't know if it was a big surprise, but I was really under the impression that, or not under the impression, but I really felt like the Steelers needed to re-sign Bud Dupree for that defense to, maintain itself, because they lost the cornerback, and then they lost a tackle or a guard on the other end. But I mean, to lose Dupree to the Titans on, like, what was it, a 4-year or 5-year deal?
They paid him pretty good. I mean, he deserved it. Good for him.
Oh
Coming
yeah,
off the injury, but
I mean, he's 28, but I still thought, he was an important piece to them. I'm kind of surprised they didn't challenge that deal more.
No, I agree with you, especially because Ben restructured. Like that was,
Yeah.
what did he actually restructure for? Like you haven't brought anyone in. Are you going to re-sign Juju?
Yeah, Bud Dupree got 5 years, $82.5 million from Tennessee. The Steelers weren't going to pay that. I understand, but
If you're the Steelers, because I mean, obviously you have one more big free agent out there. If you bring back Juju, which I still think is very doubtful,
yeah,
like who would you have prioritized, Dupree or Juju?
Dupree.
Yeah, I would agree with you there too.
Actually, you know what? Now that I'm looking at it, a big surprise to me was Aaron Jones going back to Green Bay. I was under the impression he was going to Miami or somewhere else to make money and resign for a 4-year, $48 million. I was surprised the Packers, opened the bank for him there, but
I like that. I was actually
it's a good move. Yeah, I think so.
That was our surprise. That was actually probably my favorite. Like that was one of my favorite signs. I like seeing that. Like, Aaron Rodgers is very good, and I respect that. And the Packers are a good team. They've consistently like given him the middle finger every offseason the last couple of years by drafting Jordan Love and just ignoring bringing him in weapons.
Mm-hmm.
This, not say I want the Packers to succeed or anything, but this was a nice, like, I good fit for player and team. He took a little bit less money than I think he probably could have got, but he also came back to a good situation. And the team prioritized what Rodgers needed, and they had to.
True. I guess we should talk about the busiest team this week so far, which was the New England Patriots. So they signed obviously the 2 tight ends, which were Jonnu Smith from Titans and then Hunter Henry from the Chargers, which I was surprised the Chargers didn't bring him back. They seemed like he had a good relationship with Herbert, and he was supposed to be their next Antonio Gates guy, but
yeah.
But yeah, Jonnu Smith, and then obviously Matthew Judon, Nelson Aguilar, Jalen Mills. That was kind of surprising.
2 Super Bowl 52 starters.
Yeah, re-signed Cam Newton, brought in that Dolphins defensive tackle, Godshaw, I don't know how to pronounce his name.
They brought back Van Noy as well, which kind of I think everyone saw as soon as he was cut by the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think I was talking to one of our other guests, Nick, earlier, and I was saying how, like, a lot of people were kind of looking at this like, oh, they're just kind of bringing in a bunch of players and just spending money because they have money. I'm like, not really. If you look at how they kind of constructed who they were signing, it's very on par with what Belichick likes to do. You got players like Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, a little speedier, deeper threats. But then you pair those with 2 really strong tight ends.
Oh yeah,
which will help that offense immensely.
Always loved the tight ends.
And then he built his defense has always been super versatile and stout. So, I mean, Jalen Mills is, I would say, a very middle level defender, but he's very versatile and he can play in the box. He can play safety, corner. So he fits that like Patrick Chung role.
Yeah, he loves his D-backs as well.
Yeah,
he's always been D-back centric, going back to his roots. I mean, the biggest one you said, I've always, it's funny because I like Juno Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was always underrated. He's a freak of an athlete.
Yeah.
And I liked him in the situation where he got
25.
the ball. Yeah. But I always kind of thought Hunter Henry was overrated. I don't know if it was because of the injury, but I feel like he's that guy we always expect every single year to break out. And it's been 4 years now, and he still hasn't done it. Like,
Yeah.
he's good in flashes, and a lot of it is to do with injury, but I don't know. They kind of counteract in that. But Matthew Judon was another one of my favorite signings with Aaron Jones. I think that's a great spot for him. Belichick will make him a stud. He got paid, deserved it. He was very good in Baltimore. He was the pass rush they had, and that was about it. They didn't have much pass rush outside of him, and he played really well.
Yeah.
But good spending. I mean, at least they went out and spent their money. I think the one team I was expecting to make big moves was the Dolphins with a lot of money in the division. They haven't done anything yet.
Yeah.
Like,
Dolphins
what are
and
we
Colts.
waiting for?
Dolphins and Colts really haven't done anything yet.
Well, the Colts went got Wentz. You can't kill him completely. And Ertz, now that he's in official trade discussions, I would not be surprised if he finds his way to Indianapolis as well. But the Dolphins, though, that was a team that you were borderline playoff team. Bring in some guys, take the next step. You got a young quarterback, kind of go. Maybe they're still trying to make a big deal, but I don't know. I expect a little bit more out of them.
Yeah, another team that I was surprised made some good moves was Washington. So they just signed today Curtis Samuel to the wide receiver from Carolina, 3-year, $35 million. Also brought in probably the best corner in the free agent market, William Jackson from Cincinnati, on a 3-year, $42 million, and then brought in Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's a really good veteran quarterback, who can win you a couple games, be a good mentor for the younger guys. So I think they'll
get you 8 or 8
good moves,
7 or 9. I think the Redskins will be ecstatic for that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still the Washington football team. Nothing excites me. Ryan Fitzpatrick's a good player. Don't get me wrong; he's the perfect stopgap quarterback. But if Ryan Fitzpatrick is your quarterback going into that year, I just assume that if you make it to the playoffs as a wild card team, or if you're still in the hunt at the end of the season, it's a win. You have a ceiling. But the defense will be exciting. See what happens. I mean, I can understand why they went after some offensive players.
Yeah, I mean, this will be Fitzpatrick's 9th different team. A lot of people actually wanted him to go to New England because then he would have played for every AFC East team, which would have been definitely interesting. But
would have been interesting for sure. You mentioned the one I saw today that actually I was curious when I asked you about. You mentioned cornerback, big cornerback off the market. You see Patrick Peterson went to the Vikings.
I did. I wonder if he didn't have much of a market because he only took a 1 year. And it just kind of happened out of nowhere. Like I didn't hear any other teams. I just saw Peterson sign with the Vikings. But I'm kind of surprised. I really thought after, bringing Watt in and, some of these veteran players that they would have brought him back on a 1 year, like a cheap 1 year deal. But
yeah, I mean, my first reaction was, the 1 year deal. So it made me think that the Vikings were a team that I think underperformed grossly last year. Like I feel like they were a better team than the record was. And I don't understand why they were so bad, but
yeah,
maybe he sees the potential in them. Maybe he sees more potential in Arizona, which is surprising because I think everyone sees a lot in Arizona this year. You brought in a couple other veteran guys, but then again, you might be right. Maybe he wasn't being offered the same opportunity there. But the Vikings, that's a move that makes me think that you're still interested. I think this is Kirk Cousins last year. I mean, you've got to say that this contract that he signed has been a complete failure unless something happens this year. Like they got embarrassed by the Niners in the first round or second round of the playoffs last year. Didn't even make it this year. Hardly something that should have been paid, $84 million guaranteed to Kirk Cousins and to get that out of it. So it would make sense for them to go at it one more year before Cousins is a free agent again. They have to decide on that.
True. Some other notable signings. Levante David was re-signed by the Bucks, 2 years, $25 million. So they truly are trying to run it back, bringing everybody back on the team.
Hey, that's a legacy deal. You know what? He earned it. He's been there a long time. They won the Super Bowl. That was you're going to finish your career here and be a Hall of Famer. My argument for Levante David looks great now that he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Two of the players that we were pretty close on predicting, I know I said that they were landing both these spots, but Corey Linsley, the center from Green Bay, signed a pretty big contract, 5 years, $62 million with I was about to say San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers, and then Trey Hendrickson, the young edge rusher from New Orleans, signed with Cincinnati on a 4 year, $60 million, which just sucks because I was like Hendrickson on that Bengals line would go great with Carl Lawson on the other end, and then Carl Lawson went and signed with the Jets for 3 years, 45 mil. But
Yeah, that was a weird deal. That was almost like you chose Henderson over Lawson, and the
yeah,
one was more expensive than the other. It's like, why didn't you just keep the other guy? It's not. I
and
don't think there was that much of a difference.
yeah, and Carl Lawson's 25, so it's not like he's
I mean, same with Trey Henderson. They're like pretty much, they're
yeah.
young, up and comer pass rushers.
Hendrickson's 26.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, that was a weird. That was it's a Bengals move. They just, one guy leaves and they just try to get a replacement that's exactly the same level as the other guy, but just spend more money in doing it.
Curious what you think about some of the wide receiver signings. I mean, we had Corey Davis got 3 years, 37 million to leave the Titans and go sign with the Jets, and then Emmanuel Sanders joined the Bills. Obviously, we said AJ Green to the Cardinals. What do you think about some of those moves?
I mean, Sanders to the Bills. They had I believe John Brown had to leave.
Yeah, he went to Houston, I want to say.
Yeah, Emmanuel Sanders didn't impress me at all in New Orleans. He'll be fine in his role. He's probably the fourth wide receiver with Gabe Davis has emerged. He's a downgrade from John Brown, but he's gonna be the fourth wide receiver there. That's fine. I still think the Bills are gonna be very good this coming year. But I mean, the wide receiver is the one position where the big names are still out there. Juju, Galladay, or I'm curious to see where they go. Juju would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
We talked about the Colts. I think Galladay would make a lot of sense with the Dolphins, but he might just chase the money, it sounds like, and go to a dumpster fire like the Giants or the Bengals. The Bengals need a wide receiver now that AJ Green left.
Yeah, I mean, Juju's only 24. He still has time to develop and become a better. I think he's a good second wide receiver, but he's still pretty young. And then Anthony Harris, the Viking safety, still is unsigned. Galladay still unsigned. Will Fuller is still unsigned. Clowney is still unsigned. Like, there's still some Sammy Watkins. There's still some good players out there.
I mean, I think what I'm interested is to see where the trades go. Obviously, I've said I don't think Deshaun Watson's going to get traded, but it's very obvious he wants to leave. So who knows what's going to happen? Russell Wilson sounds like he's going to stay, and I mean they were one of the teams that traded for Gabe Jackson because Gruden is just getting rid of offensive linemen, not thinking that there's an important aspect of football. But hey, he knows what he's doing, right? So that makes me feel like that they probably mend, some fences and they're trying to get back together, and especially after you hear the offers, what the Bears were offering. I mean, I understand going for Wilson, but dude, man, that's a lot. 3 first-round picks, is that what it's going to take to get a Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson? Like, honestly, it got declined.
I mean, so the Bears did sign a quarterback on a 1-year deal. They signed Andy Dalton, which I think is an upgrade over Foles and Trubisky, but
Ryan Pace should be fired immediately. Like, are you kidding me? After you did this, like, we've seen your horrific draft pick, Trubisky, do absolutely nothing for us. You brought in Foles to be the veteran to, push him. And now what? We're going to bring in a 6-10 Andy Dalton. Like, you can already predict how the Bears season's going to go. If he keeps bringing in they're like just watered down versions of Ryan Fitzpatrick at this point to compete with one of the worst quarterback busts in the last decade. Like, you're going nowhere. You're just running in circles. Nick Foles didn't work out. Let's throw Andy Dalton in here to compete with Trubisky and see what happens as we go 6-10 again. After he signed that, should be fired immediately. You should know, what's going to happen this season now.
Yeah. In some Eagles news, so they restructured a bunch of guys. Brandon Graham. Who else was it? Rodney McLeod and somebody else. Now I forget. But Alshon Jeffrey and Malik Jackson are officially released now. Hasta la vista.
Malik Jackson, horrible signing.
I was higher on Malik Jackson than you were. I thought he played fine this year.
Fine. Okay. I mean, he missed all of the first year, played fine. Right, and then it took him
season. Took him a couple of games into this year to start playing better, but I think he was a serviceable starter. I wasn't.
You were paying him to be a Pro Bowler.
Right.
He's not a serviceable starter on a 4-win team.
All right. Well, if you're looking only at the contract, then sure, I guess it was a fail. But I wasn't.
No, I'm looking at the 4 wins and the complete dumpster fire that the franchise is currently.
And then I saw today Carson Wentz. He's not an Eagle anymore, so I don't know why we keep talking about him. But he will be wearing number 2, which is interesting. Some people were trying to say, oh, it's because 11 is 1 + 1 = 2, or because he was a second overall pick, or just to spite Jalen Hurts. Like, no one knows why he wore 2, but It's gonna look weird. He'll look weird in the Colts jersey for a while now. And the Stafford and Jared Goff trade is actually still on hold. Apparently, there's some issues with it. I don't know what those would be, but neither of those are officially on different teams yet. So keep an eye out for that. Any final thoughts on free agency so far, or any surprises still to come?
I mean, there's still some big names out there. Obviously, you've mentioned them, so I'm curious to see how it goes. But no, I mean, my final thoughts, still impressed with the Cardinals. Clearly, they're going for it. So
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah, I would say
John Gruden should be on the hot seat, but he won't be.
He's got a 10-year contract. I don't think he's his seat is probably cold still. I think Patriots, Washington made some good moves. The Jets made some solid moves. We'll see where it goes. I think we'll see it. It's weird. This year and last year we saw so much change. So many players switch jerseys. So the trend continues. I feel like it wasn't as much, in the past, but I guess people want to make their money.
It's free agency. That's how it goes.
So moving on from that, we're going to look into our March Madness brackets.
Let's go, baby. Is it just me, or are you an extra level excited for March Madness? I don't know if you are a big March Madness guy, but I always loved the tournament. It's great. It's fantastic. Now, we haven't had it in 2 years now. So we missed last year. It was the only sporting event we didn't get at all. Eventually, the NBA Finals finished and the Stanley Cup happened and all that, but we didn't get any March Madness. And I didn't watch a ton of college basketball because there was a lot going on with the COVID year, postponement, blah blah blah. This, that. Now that the tournament's out, I filled out my bracket and I could feel that it's been a while. I'm pumped, amped, some would say.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited, especially when I started filling mine out. I was like, "Oh, we're really going to get our
exciting."
Tournament. So beautiful. Yeah, some of my favorite memories of the tournament is, the weekend it starts. I remember when I was in college, I'd go to class in the morning. The TV would be on ESPN or CBS or whatever, and you would come back from class. Some game would be on because there were games on all day. Beautiful. You would watch the game, eat lunch, whatever, go back to class, come back, more games, go to class again, come back, go to work or whatever, come back. The games till midnight. It was awesome. The best. I love it.
It never stops. And they're all, there are a good amount of blowouts, but just, there's so much magic in each game. It's intense. It's a championship game in every round.
Yeah. I do remember a couple years ago, it started on St. Patrick's Day, and I was out in Philly at some bars, and that was nuts. That was so much fun. But
I can imagine the good old days.
Yeah.
What is your best March Madness memory?
My best,
or happiest or fondest? What's the memory that pops in your head first?
Well, the first one that comes to mind is my roommate in college was a Tar Heels fan, and we were each talking. Obviously, Philly area people tend to gravitate towards Villanova, even though they're not Philly.
Yeah.
So that was the year Villanova and UNC played each other in the championship. So it was a fun week of going back and forth and talking shit. And then, that game was great. And I just remember, we were going back and forth. My other roommates, we were all having a blast, yelling at each other. And then we got to rub it in his face when Villanova hit that game-winning shot, or I forget if it was a buzzer or if they won by a couple.
Oh, buzzer beater, close. Baby!
Yeah,
it was buzzer beater.
Yeah, we jumped up off our chairs and shit. It was awesome.
Yeah, no, good. That's probably my first one. I had one when I was younger. I always had one similar to the Villanova one. Derrick Rose, Memphis versus Mario Chalmers in Kansas. My brother's huge Derrick Rose fan for some reason for the 8 months that he was at Memphis. And for some reason, he loved them, so obviously I had to go against them and go for Kansas. And I like Kansas. There's something about Kansas. And Mario Chalmers just jacked it up, ended the sweet story about the dominant freshman, and made Memphis just crash and burn. Never the same after that. Calipari dipped, Derrick Rose went on, and Memphis has been nothing since. But we digress. So talk to me about this bracket that I'm sure will be as useful as toilet paper after Saturday.
Yeah, I already I'm trying not to make too many bets, and I really don't have the money to just light on fire.
Can't bet every game. You got to diversify. You got to go after the certain games. You're not gonna.
Yeah.
There's plenty of blowouts in there.
So first, let's just go. What we'll do is we'll start at the round of 64, just going through some upsets we like, and then we'll jump to the probably Elite Eight, and then Final Four championship. So who do you like? I guess we'll start in the West. Who do you like as to get upset?
Upset wise in the West, so I got. Let me see. I've had two upsets.
Mm-hmm.
I've got UCSB over Creighton.
As do I.
I like the Gauchos. Plus, you know what? Creighton's had just nonsense going on. There's too much going on there. That things aren't going well. I don't think they're going to suddenly pull it all together in a tough moment like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one I got is another team that has got some issues. Virginia with the whole COVID thing. They're not the team I'm banking on. I know they're defending champions only because they won a championship 2 years ago. It's been a while since then.
Yeah.
So those are the two upsets I have. I have Ohio over Virginia, UCSB over Creighton. Everyone else is pretty chalk. But coming out of that region, obviously Zaga's in there, and Zaga's awesome. There's, college basketball season has been all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Different than any other year. There's been constant change, schedule issues, postponements, blah, blah, blah. The one constant all the time has been Gonzaga. Just going out there and winning. Doesn't matter what day it is. Doesn't matter who's got COVID. Doesn't matter what's going on. They just go out and win. They've been the best team all year. I don't want to spoil it or anything, but they're going to cruise through this whole region for me.
All right. We'll see. On the South side, I have, let's see, looking through real quick. I have Colgate beating Arkansas.
Is that are those pearly whites of yours sponsored or something? Is that what we're going for here? Is that what this is right now? Are you just trying to get some promo value? Colgate only played like 15 games though. I was interested by them. They only have the one loss, but 15 games.
You always got to pick at least 1, 16, 15, 14 seed to win a game. It's good luck. So them, and then I have Virginia Tech beating Florida. I watched some of their games. I think they're actually a pretty solid team. So, while you're dying over there.
The Virginia Tech, not even kind of surprised. You've been a Virginia Tech homer for a while, so it doesn't really matter who they're playing. They could be playing Bill Walton and the UCLA teams. Doesn't really matter. I'm sure you would pick them anyway. But with that going, I also picked them.
Oh, wow.
You're talking about your late seed. This is my biggest seed. I think I have upsetting actually. And their name is North Texas Mean Green. They're the Mean Greens. Do I know anything about the Mean Greens other than the fact that they're named the Mean Greens? Have I ever watched a Mean Green game? Of course not. But their name's Mean Green. Is this too complicated? Like, it's easy.
You're complaining that I picked Virginia Tech because I've liked them since I was a child, and then you're gonna say, "Oh, I picked a team because they have a cool name."
No. I'm very open up front about why I picked North Texas. You're over here trying to give me, I see Virginia Tech play. They're really good. Yeah, you're a Virginia Tech homer over there.
I didn't say really good. I said they've played well.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah, at least I was open about the Mean Greens. But I got the Mean Greens, obviously, and then we just talked about them as one of the good moments. And I do root for Nova. They are the area team, but you know what? They lost their heart and soul. And Winthrop is a good team. Yeah. I know your Colgate, brand sponsored college over there. They only have one win, but they have 14. Or they only have one loss, but they have 14 wins to go along with it. Winthrop 23-1. Impressive. I definitely think they're gonna be okay. And actually, what would be one of my favorite matchups is Winthrop versus the Mean Greens. Hell of a matchup. Spoiler alert, Winthrop wins.
Wow. Yeah, I was very iffy on Nova, and then somehow I put them in the Sweet 16 because they ended up facing Purdue. So,
well, you got to factor in the Mean Greens taking care of Purdue.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah, that's where you're missing.
In the Midwest, let's see. I don't know if I had any real upsets. I mean, I had Syracuse beating San Diego State, and then I had Rutgers over Clemson, but I feel like those are kind of meh. I mean, Syracuse is an 11th seed, but
yeah, I mean, I didn't take Q, so I have San Diego winning, but yeah, I'm pretty chalk. The only upset I have is Rutgers. I don't think Clemson's very good. And the Rutgers, I
It
think,
just looks weird seeing Clemson in a March Madness bracket. So I was like, Rutgers.
plus the Big Ten is so good that like I almost want to just give 3 wins to every team that is in the Big Ten, just because if you played in a different conference without like bullies like Michigan, Illinois, Ohio State, like you're talking about a conference that had 2 number 1 seeds and a number 2 seed. Like, oh, I'm sorry, 2 number 2 seeds and 2 number 1 seeds. It's
right.
pretty brutal. So Rutgers I think is a pretty solid team. They're 15-11. I have them beating Clemson, but other than that, it's pretty chalk otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah, I have, I mean, spoiler alert, I have I mean my final four is all 1 seeds, but moving on to the East, not too many. I mean, I had Georgetown the 12 over Colorado the 5. Um and yeah, it looks like everything else was like you chalked right straight through. So
East, I'll give you my first round upsets, but this is actually my most upset bracket or region. So after I give you my upset, I'm going to go into this region because it gets a little wackier after that. And I'm full disclosure, I'm 3 number 1 seeds.
okay.
So but East region is where it gets a little crazy. So my only first round upset I have is Michigan State beating BYU. I think Tom Izzo and the boys get it all together. Old veteran team, they don't have the talent as normal, but again, a Big Ten team. I think the Big Ten teams are very good. They've played very good competition. Plus, I think they beat UCLA. They get a little momentum going. I think they'll be a tough team to beat. I don't have them going very far after that though, because I have Texas beating them, and then Texas is actually my team because I have them beating Bama. So I got the second seed going down to Texas. I got LSU knocking off Michigan in that round of 32.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Michigan lost that Livers guy. He's a good player. That's injuries now are tough. I had Villanova getting upset because their best player just got hurt. Michigan lost a very good guy. They won't say that he's completely out for the tournament, but stress fracture, I'm no doctor. That doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound like you're playing this weekend. So I like LSU. I think they're a better team than their rating or ranking is. And then for my Sweet 16 there, I actually got LSU and Florida State. Florida State beating on LSU, and then a little Florida State Texas action, a little football powerhouse ranking.
Wow.
And Texas winning that to go on to face Zaga in the Final Four. So tease me, tell me, lie to me about something that you think's correct but isn't going to happen.
I mean, I don't think, even with the injury, I don't think Michigan's going to lose that early. But I mean, hey, write your own fantasy, man.
He got hurt at the wrong time. It's these late season injuries, and he's a senior. I think he's averaging 13 a game. He's a big part of that team, and I think LSU is a little better than their 18-9 record or their 8 seed is.
All right, so I guess my next question you kind of already answered. I think I was going to say, who do you have any dark horse team that you think might make it somewhat deep? And I guess that would be LSU for you.
I have well, no, not even LSU because I have Texas. Well, Texas is 3 seed. I have them going away. Because I do have Florida. I like Florida State. I think Florida State knocks off LSU. But on my other in the Midwest is probably my darkest horse because I've got West Virginia. They're a 3 seed, but I have them knocking. They have them winning out. They knock off Houston, so they get to Sweet 16, similar to Texas. So outside that,
my dark horse, I had them make it to the Elite 8 and then lose to Gonzaga, but I like USC. I think they're sneaky.
You know what? I agree with you there. I have USC beating Kansas. You obviously do too.
Yeah, I had USC and Oregon in the Sweet 16, and then USC winning. So,
USC. I mean, I don't know. I had Iowa. Iowa's a good team.
I don't know. I'm not buying into it.
See, it goes back to that Big Ten.
They look like a upset candidate. Iowa.
Oh no! I don't see that. They got a senior Wooden. I mean, he's going to win the Wooden Award this year in Garza. See, I agree with you with the USC and Iowa because I have them playing in the Sweet 16, and I was so close to picking USC because I was like, you know what, Garza's good, but they got Mobley. They got actually both Mobleys on USC, and they're both huge. Evans obviously a stud. Yeah. So I was like, maybe Garza could, have some issue with it, but. Wisey Camp's on that team. There's a lot of depth on Iowa. Iowa's a good team. You're sleeping on a very good team here.
Whatever. So let's go into our Elite Eight then. So, like I said, in the West, I have Gonzaga and USC. In the
Okay, I'm
South,
dragging. Go ahead.
we'll just do it at
Go
the same
ahead.
time. No, go ahead. Who did you have in the West?
Zaga and Iowa. I didn't want to say it after you so soon because obviously it would be sounding like me correcting you because you
No.
clearly are foolish and I'm
Okay.
just telling you what's gonna actually happen. So I didn't want to insult you or anything by going too fast. But
All
go
right.
ahead.
And then I had Baylor and Ohio State in the South.
Me too.
Okay. Midwest, I had Illinois and Houston.
Press Virginia, baby. Bob Huggy Bear.
Houston's also a pretty quietly very good team this year. I mean, they did get the 2, but and then East, I had Michigan because I'm not a fool like you, and Alabama. So,
you have both the number 1 and 2 seed foolishly. That's a shame.
it's a very straightforward. I don't know. I feel like there's always 1 and 2 seeds in every Final Four. So
I had the football powerhouse matchup between Florida State and Texas being won by Texas. And hindsight, or actually
Florida State and Texas.
My football matchups actually pretty good because I've got Ohio State and Baylor playing each other in the other Elite Eight. Not bad. Football wise, we're looking pretty good. I don't think Gonzaga has much of a football team, but Iowa does. So, all right. So your Final Four is who?
So I have Gonzaga beating USC, and then I have Michigan over Alabama, and then Baylor over Ohio State, and Illinois over Houston.
Okay, they sound all foolish, but I respect them. I'm going to go with Gonzaga, Baylor, Texas, and Illinois. My Baylor-Illinois matchup being won by the Big Ten, who I've been talking so highly up of. And then I've been, telling you the most constant thing in college basketball is Gonzaga. So I got Gonzaga versus Illinois.
In the champ?
And yep.
So I had Illinois and Michigan in my championship.
You really think Michigan's going to have a championship?
I do. I know it's going to.
Do you realize I have them losing in the second round?
Here's my thing with Gonzaga, though.
That they're awesome.
I looked into it a lot more because I wasn't super familiar. I just knew that they are undefeated, but I was like, who are they playing? How badly are they winning? And all this and that. And I mean, the level of their opponent wasn't super impressive. Like they cakewalked through that season.
Yeah, but their opponent doesn't matter. It's how impressive they look that matters. This team is a veteran team. They got tons of size. Jalen Suggs is a superstar. Timmy, superstar. Like, I love it. You have the combination of the veteran star and the freshman star. They play great defense, well coached, very well coached. Mark Few has been to the championship before. Gonzaga is a program that's been many years in the making. They've been very successful for a while. This is the year they put it all together. It reminds me of Virginia when they won their championship 2 years ago. They were a team that forever was knocking on the door. Very good team. Didn't play a ton of great competition, but they had a very smart coach. They put the roster that they needed in that moment together, and they got on a run, and they ran with it. They're undefeated. They're awesome. They haven't come close to losing, I think, in any game this season. I'm taking Zaga over Illinois in my championship. So who do you have to win in was Michigan, Illinois, you said?
Yeah, Illinois, Michigan.
Okay, Big Ten, baby.
Yeah, with a score of 79-73, I have Illinois taking home the crown.
Wow, look at you. Yeah. Okay. Well, we both have Illinois in the championship. That's something. Michigan, I have getting bumped in the round of, 32.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about it.
All right, well, we'll see. One of us will be sad and one of us won't. And when I'm smiling, just make sure to get your teardrops off me.
Well, who is your champion?
Gonzaga.
Okay.
Come on, you think I'm going to talk them up that much and waste all my breath and then pick someone else?
I think they'll get to the Final Four. I think they'll relatively cruise through like the Elite Eight, but I don't know, man. I would not be shocked if they lost in the round of 32. Like they win the first game and then lose the second round. I would not be shocked.
So what it really comes down to is me and you are putting all of our stock into I'm Gonzaga, you're Michigan. I guarantee you Gonzaga goes farther than Michigan. Guarantee it.
We'll see. You want to bet on that?
I do. It's a damn near guarantee.
I'm a little scared to bet on that, but
you have to shave half of your beard and mustache
Ooh,
If Michigan, I know. See,
I
now
would-
I'm getting you to
I
tough
would
part.
never agree to that.
I wanted to see the confidence you had in Michigan.
This is
Not the
this is
whole
my
thing.
lifeline. I can't get rid of this.
That's true. I did spend that whole time complimenting you, but
That's
all right,
true.
fine. We'll bet on the Michigan over Gonzaga.
Say a 6-pack.
What's the deal?
All right. So whoever goes longest. If I turn on third or what, I think the games start on Friday, March 19th.
Yeah.
If
Well, you
Michigan
got
loses in
the
round
playing
one,
games.
I'll just cry.
You got the playing games tomorrow. So
Yeah,
we
playing
got
games tomorrow.
So I'm curious because we got games tomorrow and we didn't really talk about them. Norfolk State and Appalachian. Where are you at?
I would say Appalachian. Why not?
Right. I love it.
Why not?
They beat Michigan once, so you might as well go for all the Michigan
why not?
beaters. I love that.
Yeah.
Get in the mind of a Michigan beater. I'm going with Appalachian State too because Michigan's going to lose. So
Okay.
put that. Jersey Drake or Wichita State tomorrow?
The Shockers.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
They always tend to do win a game or two in the
Jersey Drake though is 25-4. Not bad.
Yeah, but who are they playing?
Wichita. So,
I mean, like throughout the season.
Mount St. Mary's or Texas Southern?
Let's go Texas Southern.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going with St. Mary's. Get the side of the Saints on me. I need some luck.
Fair enough.
All right, powerhouse matchup. Surprising for a playing game, but obviously I told you I had them upsetting in the next round. But Michigan State and UCLA.
It's weird. Like I feel like it's weird not seeing Michigan State in the bracket, and I don't think we will see them in the bracket. I'm going to go UCLA.
Well, I have Michigan State beating BYU, so I always say I have to go Michigan State. It is kind of crazy to see a UCLA Michigan State playing game.
Yeah,
like that's a Final Four matchup.
And what was it? Duke is not in the tournament. UNC is 8. Like it's a weird year.
Kentucky's out. Yeah.
Kentucky's not in it. Like
your only blue blood that did well was Kansas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
Wild year.
But hey, I'm excited. It's been 2 years in the making.
Yeah.
I'm pumped. It's been a while. But it's gonna be basketball all day, all night, every minute of the day. Free agency will pick up. We'll be talking.
Yeah, it'll be a fun time. We'll all be tuning in and check the Instagram, see if we happen to do anything. Maybe we'll go live for a couple games or something. But yeah, everyone enjoy your games and enjoy a nice beer with friends, and respect your 6 feet boundaries and wear your masks and all that shit.
And everyone root for Michigan to lose, so
no,
could have to shave half his beard and mustache.
No, we don't want that.
Oh, we do though.
No. All right.
It's been a pleasure.
As it is always. I'll talk to you later.
All right, peace.
Peace out.